Chapter 13. Preparations for war. Perhaps much to the surprise of the others, I take the lizardmen in, but don't have them relocate to our village. Instead, I have them maintain their society within the marshlands under their chieftain whom I named Rimuru. Gabiru was less than pleased by this outcome, but faced with the choice to serve or watch his sister die, he too bent the knee. Now, however, having named his sister Sauka and seen her transform into an attractive young woman, she simply just can't compete with Xian and Trainee. I haven't done anything with her yet, but I can tell. Sigh. What a waste. Me. Sauka. Sauka. Yes, Millard. She runs forward, tripping over an unconscious Xian in the process, but I just about catch her before she hits the ground. Sauka. Forgive me. Me. Shhhh. You'll wake them. She looks around and visibly blushes as her eyes take in the voluptuous forms of both Trainee and Xian, sprawled across the carpeted floor. Me. I have finally decided on what to do with you. Sauka. I understand. She begins removing her clothes. 3. Me. Stop. Sauka. Millard? Me. That's not what I have in mind. Sauka. But. Standing, I make my way to the door before pausing. Me. Walk with me. She complies, and before long we're in the street, slowly making our way towards the outskirts of the village. Everyone makes way for me as I walk, but I can't help but notice how Sauka goes pale each time she feels their attention shift to her. Me. There's nothing to be afraid of. Sauka. Am I not good enough? Me. Sauka. It's just that you know with Lady Xian and Lady Trainee, but don't wish to also partake of me. Me. Sauka. She breaks down in tears, and I have no idea how to respond. Indeed, she isn't as attractive as either girl, but my reasons for turning down her body have little to do with that. I simply believe she'd be of better use in another area of expertise. Besides, she doesn't seem like the type of girl who'd receive any glimmer of comfort from such activities. I might be lust personified, but I wouldn't soil her honor like that. 5. Me. Saue. Yes, Millard. Me. I'll leave Sauka in your care. Both. Millard? Me. Train her to assist you in your missions. Saue. Am I free to use any method? 2. Me. Train her as you see fit. My only concern is the results. Saue. As you command, Lord Rimuru. Me. Sauka. Yes. Me. Do your best. With that, I'm off, but it isn't long before I feel arms wrap around me from behind. Sauka. Thank you. I turn around, but she's gone, as is Saue. Me. A promising start. Rigard. Lord Rimuru. A massive behemoth of a man crash lands in front of me, prostrating himself with his face against the ground. He kicks up much dust, but seems completely oblivious to the chaos his every waking moment seems to cause the minute he sees me. Me. What is the problem? Rigard. It is the preparations for the war, Millard. Benimaru. What he's trying to say is, we're all ready for the meeting. Me. Very well, lead the way. They do, and before long I find myself sitting around a table with a map layout of the surrounding regions. The positions of the orc formations are already marked on the map, but orc figurines, and from them, I quickly learn that their army has split into 3. Me. So, what's the plan? Oh no. You jest, Millard. Me. Is that so? All. Millard? Me. Anyways, the plan is simple. Meet them on the battlefield and use them as practice targets. We could coordinate with the lizardmen over specifics, but there's no need. I doubt any of you are foolish enough to be killed in such a one-sided encounter. Oh no. So the plan is no plan at all? Hero. On the contrary. The plan is to go all out and show our Lord the true strength of his military. Me. I look forward to seeing you all in action. However, there's a little more to it than just that. All. Lord? Me. We'll be fighting in the marshlands. Cavalry units, while good, won't be optimal in such conditions. As such, rather than have the goblin riders charge in with us, I want them to position themselves around the marshes after the orcs have all passed in. The mission of these riders is simple. Prevent any orcs from escaping. Benimaru? While the Kijin move in to engage their force directly, yes? Me. Precisely. While this is little more than an exercise, I want it to be clean. To that end, the lizardmen will also need to remain within their caves. I don't want friendly casualties. Saue. Would you like me to deliver your orders, Millard? Me. Yes, and take Sauka with you. Saue. Lord. He vanishes with Sauka in tow. The minute he's gone, however, a new voice makes its presence known. Voldora. What about me? Me. So you're finally interested? Voldora. I'm always up for a fight. Me. Yes. Well, I doubt orcs would present much of a challenge for you. You'd likely cause their whole army to surrender. Voldora. Bahahaha. I am amazing, aren't I? Me. That's never mind. In any case, you'll be remaining in the village. Voldora. But. Me. You'd be defending the village, protecting our most important possession. I can think of no greater task than this. It's only. Voldora. I see. Most important, you say? Me. Yes. Voldora. I accept. The storm dragon Voldora Tempest shall not allow a single cell to pass. Me. Wonderful. Now, to the specifics. Chapter 14? Battle of the Marshes. The Lizardman Marsh is not much to look at, is it? Bleak and filled with pale colors, it isn't exactly the most appealing place, though perhaps this says more about the time of year than the actual location. A light fog hovers just above the ground. It's not enough to obscure sight, but it does paint everything in a sickly white hue. Benimaru? Millard, everyone's in position. Me. Excellent. I'll leave the command of our forces to you and Hiro. Benimaru? Should we take prisoners? Me. I have yet to decide. Benimaru? Understood. I watch him walk off before blasting off into the sky. Shion moans about me leaving her behind, but after Shuna points out that I'm not going anywhere, she calms down enough for me to focus on the upcoming battlefield. In terms of numbers, we're vastly outmatched, but still, our assembly is quite impressive. Against an out 220,000 orcs we have 300 Kijin, 1,500 hobgoblins, 750 deerwolves, 900 lizardmen. In truth, it isn't the entire population of my ever-expanding community, as we have a total of 555 Kijin, 5,800 hobgoblins, 1,250 deerwolves, and the newly added 2,000 lizardmen, for a combined total of 9,604 residents, not including myself, Voldora, and trainee. Furthermore, given each number represents a being that is ranked B+ or higher, and all are capable of fighting. Benimaru? This is the first battle Lord Rimuru will be overseeing. Do not disappoint. Show the master the true extent of your power. All. Here. Here. Hero. The enemy approaches. Remember your orders. Kill or capture. Kill or capture. On that, everyone sets off. They are few, but as the last of the orcs pour onto the marshy terrain, I can only watch in amazement as they are immediately attacked from all sides. All around their formation, large swathes of orcs vanish under explosions so powerful they deform the very land. Me. Shion, feel free to join the attack. Shion. But. Me. I'll be fine. Go have fun. She doesn't wait to receive any further confirmation before rushing off. Swinging that massive bait of hers, she easily carves through line after line before reaching Hakiru who, after merely touching his sword handle, manages to cut down 17 orcs who deign to come near Shuna. Benimaru? They just keep coming, don't they? Shion? Lord Rimuru was right. It is like target practice. Hakiru? Yes, this provides an excellent opportunity for my students to learn. Ranga? Such insolence before the master. They must be punished. Ranga's howl is deafening, and as he does, his fur shines a glistening purple and bright blue, making him stand out in the night despite the countless flashes from the battle. Perhaps due to this, the nearest orcs charge him. Bad move. Massive F5 tornadoes hurl themselves down from above, accompanied by flashes of lightning precision, striking the strongest opponents, while the winds mop up what's left. It lights the sky up like the inside of a disco ball, and yet the orcs still just keep on coming. It's as though we're fighting against an unlimited spawn point. Me. Has anyone found the orc lord as yet? Benimaru? Negative. Hiro? I haven't seen him yet either. Shion? Lord Rimuru? All. Yes? Shion? I said Lord Rimuru. Benimaru? Well. Hiro? Get over yourself. What's the emergency? Me. Did you find him? Shion? Saue. Lady Shion has indeed located the orc lord, Millard. Shall we take him out? Hiro? I should be the one. Shion? He'll die long before you get here. Hiro? You wouldn't dare. Hakiru. Be careful. Don't get too close. His warning comes slightly too late. In her attempt to beat Hiro to the punch, Shion jumps and swings straight for the monster's head. She connects, but the sword simply gets stuck in all the fat. What's worse, gaseous heads pour out of the wound and latch themselves onto Shion, who instantly drops to the ground writhing in pain. Raphael. The Orc Lord is excellent at trot attacks. They will ignore most standard defenses. As such, it is recommended that any attackers remain outside the attacking range. Me. What's the range? Raphael? Unknown. Me. Huh? Raphael? The range of the attack varies based on the user's remaining magical count. Me. So basically the range could be infinite. She takes a while to respond but eventually does. Raphael? Yes. Chapter 15. The Orc Disaster. Me. So that's the Orc Disaster. Raphael? It is. Me. He's quite big, isn't he? Benimaru? Lord Rimuru, you needn't trouble yourself. I watch as he and the others repeatedly attack our foe. Still, while they do manage to inflict severe damage, his regenerative powers are simply unmatched, easily regrowing missing limbs and even surviving decapitation with little to no effort. Hero? Die. Red flames engulf our enemy, and for a moment it seems as though the battle might finally be won, but soon, laughter fills the air as the smell of burnt flesh rises from open wounds. Orc Disaster? Ha 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 ha. So this is pain. Using the sheer might of his will, he douses the flames and with a single wave, brushes Hiro's follow-up attack aside like a broom to dust. Shion, who'd been recovering on the sidelines, now charges back in only to get attacked once more by Rot, sending her crashing into a nearby crater, writhing in agony. Benimaru? Shion? Hiro? Focus, brother. His warning comes too late as the newly self-proclaimed demon lord rushes forward and swings for his head. Benimaru can only stand, frozen in place as the hefty sword nears his neck, but before it can break the skin, Hakiru all but magically appears out of nowhere to block the attack, before launching an attack of his own. Hakiru? Young prince, it seems you require further training. Hiro? What he needs is Gyuuits. Hiro's aura seemingly triples as he enters an attacking posture before launching himself once more. The Orc Lord raises his sword and blocks, but Hiro's much smaller sword hits with such power that it breaks through, slicing clean through his body before being swung around to cleave off his head. As Hiro lands opposite his falling body, there's no doubt in anyone's mind now. He is most certainly dead with that attack. Orc Disaster? H-M-M-M-M-M-M-M. The ground rumbles as crimson serpents seep out from the decaying body, attacking everything in their path. I'm forced to take flight to avoid getting attacked, but others aren't as lucky. Hiro, being so close to the corpse, gets struck in the back before he can react. Benimaru, in an attempt to save his brother, gets struck next alongside quite a number of the goblin riders who dared attempt to rescue Shion. Orc Disaster? Mwahahaha. Did you believe such a pitiful attack could ever dream of killing me? Much to my disbelief, the body reconstructs itself using slime-like tentacles to reattach limbs as needed. Orc Disaster? I shall devour all, for I am the Orc. Disaster? Raya. His voice booms across the marsh with such power it physically pushes me back about 12 feet, and by the time I've regained my balance, he's upon me. Orc Disaster? Die. It takes everything I can muster to counter the attack, but I'm still knocked to the ground by the force of the impact. Me. He's really strong, isn't he? Raphael? By my calculations, the Orc Disaster is indeed relatively strong in comparison to the Master's subordinates. However, about Master, the Orc Disaster is inconsequential and thus not worthy of attention. Me? Well, that's no fun. Looking back at my foe, I find him towering above Shion's struggling form. He licks his lips as his hands draw ever closer to her body, and immediately, something triggers deep within me. Faster than any bullet, quicker than any lightning, I'm scooping Shion up into my arms as he cries out in pain from suddenly missing both arms. Me. Mine. He snarls as his limbs regrow themselves. Orc Disaster? Then I'll just have to devour you as well. He launches forward again, but I easily dodge. Setting Shion down, I turn around just in time to see him boring down on me once more. Me. I tire of this charade. Orc Disaster? Raya. Me. Beelzebub. He tries stopping to counter, But both he and his attack get swallowed whole as Beelzebub devours everything, including the very ground upon which he stood, leaving nothing to chance. Turning back to Xian, I find her wincing in pain. Her wrists and neck are black from decay, but she's still holding on to life. When she notices me watching her, she attempts to speak, but with her throat already destroyed, all that she manages is a few gasps for air. Me. SHHH. Resting my hand above her head, I first think about asking Beelzebub to consume the affected areas, but Raphael is quick to remind me that this would include her neck, and while Xian is strong, she's unlikely to survive being decapitated. Instead, Raphael asks that I give her permission to work on her own, and after some initial hesitation, I grant my consent. Quickly getting to work, she has clones fetch the necessary supplies from around the marsh before using magic to clear away the rot. Surprisingly, even after healing, wounds remain, but just as I'm about to ask her about it, she finishes crushing together a salve which she quickly applies. Xian screams, presumably because it burns, but after retaking control I do my best to comfort her, and after some time she finally falls asleep. As I reposition myself to allow her head to rest within my lap, Benimaru and the others step forward before falling to their knees. Benimaru? For failing you, we deserve death. Punish us, Millard. Me. Relax, no one died. Benimaru? But. I glance up to find him refraining from looking me in the eyes. Hero, usually loud and brawling, remains with his face planted against the mud. Benimaru? Lady Xian, Millard's B. Raphael? Notice. Observer detected. Magical interference activated. Me. An observer? Raphael? From my calculations, it is likely that this attack wasn't random. A major power likely coerced the orcs into attacking. Me. Or. Raphael? Or outright controlled them like pawns. Me. An interesting theory, but even if it were true, it'd be much better to focus my efforts on strengthening my current position rather than attempting to scour the entire world for my potential adversary. Raphael remains quiet, but my attention is quickly drawn back to the real world as screams alert me to the fact that Hero's about to kill himself by running his sword through his stomach. Me. I said it was fine. Hero? Me. If you want to make amends, then gather the wounded and have them treated. Clear out the dead before they contaminate the entire marsh's water supply. Sawe. Lord Rimuru. Sawe appears out of thin air close by. Me. Speak. Sawe. What of the prisoners? Me. What prisoners? Chapter 16. Birth of a Nation. As the sun rises on a new day, my forces and I tower above over 110,000 orcs. They've lost the will to live and are awaiting execution, but before I manage to give the order, Raphael proposes the idea of using them for labor. The idea intrigues me and after some deliberation, I agree. The orcs themselves seem more than happy to be given a second chance at living, and to be quite frank, it is a rather splendid deal for them. In exchange for their labor, they'll never be short of food again. Every last orc accepts without a second thought, and yet as I turn away to head back to the village, Trainee appears. Trainee? Millard? Me. What do you want now? She bends the knee before me and before long, she's joined by the chief of the lizardmen and all those who have sworn to serve me. Me. What's this about? Benimaru? Lord Rimuru, with this victory I believe it is time to declare the formation of a new nation. It'll allow us to secure our borders and… Me. What? Hero? I agree. It'd make protecting our lands easier. Trainee? You have my support and that of my sisters. Trainee has sisters? Me. What are you all rambling on about? Ibiru? It is true that by subjugating the ogres, goblins, and more recently lizardmen, a new nation was slowly being formed. We already have a copy. Wait, did they plan this from the very start? I mean, it'd make sense given how quickly the ogres bent the knee, followed soon after by virtually every species of import within the immediate vicinity. Xian? Lord Rimuru? Me. Raphael, what do you think? Raphael? The formation of a kingdom would immediately alert potential adversaries to your existence. Powerful nations would likely use the illegitimacy of a nation of monsters to invade the great forest of Jura. Me. Why didn't they do so before? Raphael? Even sealed, Voldora posed too great a threat. However, with his aura now gone, many believe he has died. Me. Would we win a fight? Raphael? Yes. Refocusing on the masses gathered before me, I take note of the various species. Raphael does a quick count, and we number roughly 145,000 strong. Most of our current forces would comprise the newly acquired orcs, but while they are fairly weak and pathetic right now, she makes it clear that once I name them, they'll become a force to be proud of. Me. So, are you all saying you wish to swear your eternal fealty to me and me alone? Hero? You know our answer, Millard. Me. Yes, yes. The Kidjan, Deerulls, and Hobgoblins have already done so, but I'm referring to everyone else. There are quite a few goblins here that don't currently serve me. Perhaps. We wish to serve you, O mighty one. I'm caught off guard but manage to keep a straight face, even as they press their faces deep into the muddy marshlands. Me. There's still the question of the orcs. We shall serve. Me. What of the dryads? Trainee? While my sisters and I still wish to return to our master, Lady Ramrus, we will. Me. You have sisters? Trainee. Me. How come you never mention them? She seems at a loss for words, but before either of us can make a move to respond, a new voice makes itself known. Nu. A loud boom follows the piercing scream. When the dust clears, I'm half expecting to see the orc disaster, but what I find instead is a tiny specimen of a man by comparison. How dare you interfere in his plan? Seemingly thinking they are the leaders of the massive horde now before him, he swings his staff in the direction of Benimaru, Xian, and the others, but completely overlooks me. Gabiru? Lord Gelmid, have you come to our aid? Gelmid? Silence, worm. I can't believe you were so incompetent that you couldn't even roll over and die like the trash you are. Gabiru? What are you saying, Lord? Gelmid? Just die already. Gabiru? Lord Gelmid. I watch as red beams of light fire toward Gabiru, but make no move to assist. Instead, it is Benimaru who jumps before him and parries the incoming attacks with his sword. Benimaru? Gelmid, I knew that name. So you're the one that swore to bring ruin to our villa. Xian? Raya. Xian attacks, but Gelmid dodges before refocusing his efforts on Benimaru. He doesn't get to so much as raise his hand before being caught in Saue's trap, however, and as he dangles there for all to see, they surprise me by first attempting to gain information from him. He refuses to cooperate, but we do manage to successfully ascertain that he's working with or for a demon lord. Benimaru? Anything else? Gelmid? I'd never. Benimaru? Die. He fires off something towards Gelmid, and before long, he's engulfed in black flames. When it clears, all that's left is a space and a few specks of ash, the only sign of what once was.